stirring the coffee with wooden chopsticks in a wooden cup using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started. But first, coffee in the wooden cup. Nice. Very nice. I don't know. Something just struck my funny bone today. I don't know why. I have an interesting letter I'll read at the end. And I'm in a good mood today. So today's coffee is in honor of two friends. What I did was I took the grinder and I put I put beans in the grinder, obviously. 1/3 my Ethiopian beans that I roasted last week. 1/3 of the Ethiopian beans, a different type of Ethiopian bean from John Williams, the JBP project, and 1/3 of Indian monsoon beans that were a gift to me from John Williams. But the Indian beans are in honor of my friend, new friend D. Walker, that I met at the Baltimore Pen Show, and the Ethiopian beans from John Williams, my other friend. So this is a friendly cup, and so here's to John Williams and D. Walker, who said that he's been watching my videos after I interviewed him for the documentary that I did. So to D. Walker, here you go, who has a V-Rod Harley Davidson and has a great beard. To you, my friend. Perfect. Perfect. When you start blending your own coffee, it's just a fun experiment. It really is, to see what kind of profiles are popping out. Two different Ethiopians and an Indian. It sounds like a joke. Two Ethiopians and an Indian walk into a bar, and the bartender says, come up with a good punchline for that. And put the comment down below. Finish that joke for the Sultan community. And let's see if you can come up with something funny. Two Ethiopians and an Indian walk into a bar, and the bartender says, and then put your answer down below. What if everything in your life, everything that you've been told, is a lie? Everything, space, time, reality, government, politics, media. What if it's a giant cover-up? This is Christopher Green. And you've been imprisoned in a base layer third dimension for a reason. The question is, what are they hiding? I like Christopher Green. Although I don't believe in everything that he says. Only kidding. I never start sentences with that. I never do that. I want to model that for you. Don't say, although we don't see eye to eye on everything. I've almost ended friendships because of that. It's pretty understood that if you are a human being that thinks on your own, that you don't agree with everything everybody says. Think about your favorite content creators. Let's say, I say to you, who do you watch? And you go, I watch Joe Rogan. Well, I assume that you don't agree with everything he says and does, right? It's just an assumption. But I don't need you to say that. He doesn't need you to say that, and you don't need to say that. On with the tweet here. Everything you've been told is a lie. And I'll take it a step further. What if everything is a simulation? What if it's a test? What if this is the Truman Show? What are your thoughts about everything that you've been told is a lie? Put your comments down below. I'd like to hear that I do have some thoughts about that. How in the United States we have been divided into liberal and conservative. And as a conservative and as a Christian person, I have people who hate me just for what I believe. I'm very compassionate in my everyday life. If you know me in person, I'm empathetic, compassionate. I help people out. I'm cheerful. I'm a good neighbor. You would like me to be your neighbor. I'm the kind of guy you want as your neighbor. But yet, there are people, half the people in the United States, who hate me because of what I believe. Interesting. If you think that's an accident, then you're really not aware, are you? You really don't have the lens on, the they live lens. You need to put on the lens and see the truth. The lens will help you see a bigger picture. I never understood why somebody would want to punch me for what I believe. Right? I've never seen that in my life. This is new. This is not one of the, like, oh, every 50 years this happens. This has never happened in this country, ever. This has never, ever happened. Oh, it's a new civil war brewing. No, it's not. This is different than that. This is way different than that. Something is going on. What do you think it is? Put your comments down below. I never understood letters that weren't pronounced, like the letter L in the word would, could, should. And when you talk to the smartest people, no one ever had a good answer. When you ask a teacher, why is the L not pronounced? It would always be like a parent that says, because I said so. Well, it just is. You never knew why. Do you know why the L is not pronounced in would? Shouldn't? If I say to you, would you join me for coffee today? Shouldn't that would be spelled W-O-O-D, would? As in would? As in would? If I pronounce it the way it's spelled, it would be would. W-O-U-L-D. Would you join me for coffee? What other words can you think of where there are letters that are not pronounced? Put your answer in the comments down below. Action does not equal traction. We know a lot of people that are busy, don't we? Monday night, I do karate. Tuesday night, I bring my kids to soccer practice. Wednesday night, I'm learning French. Thursday night, I do kickboxing. Friday night, a lot of people that are busy. I take courses. I read books. Action, motion. But it doesn't equal traction. Those of you that drive, here it is wintertime. Your car is stuck in the snow. It's stuck. You step on the gas. The wheels are moving. There's action, right? But the car's not going anywhere. What happens when that car, what does it take for that car to move? Traction. Traction, not action. There's a lot of action going on, but no traction. You need traction in your life. That's what coaching with me is about. Traction. You're real busy, aren't you? You're real smart, but you have no traction. When I start the coaching up again, you're going to get traction. That's why I've called it traction coaching. Rather than just having a lot of action and motion in your life, you will actually be moving. So the difference between action and someone who's actually getting somewhere in life is traction. I used to say I should have a net worth of millions by now. But I don't, because I was busy with no traction. The biggest lies today are stay busy, try harder, work longer, get another degree or certification. I lost track of all the people in my life that said, I'm going to go back and get my master's. I'm going to go get another certification. Well, good for you. Good for you. You still have no traction. And you're more broke. Traction, my friends. Write the word down. Traction. Put it on Post-it notes. Put it on your mirror. Put it above your door before you walk out of the house. Put it on your dresser. Put it on your dashboard. Put it on your money clip or your wallet. Traction, traction, traction. In a world of shaming, only the shameless will rise. Let me say that again. In a world of shaming, only the shameless will rise. Let me ask you a question. Should I be on Twitch? People say to me, I should be on Twitch. I didn't even know what Twitch was. Is it an app? What is it? I don't know what Twitch is. For those of you that know, would I benefit and would the Sultan's business benefit if he was on Twitch? Let me know. If I was to get a last car that I ever own. Now, I think about that. I have an LL Bean shirt that I bought in 1990. I remember where I was working when I got the shirt. It's still firm, crisp. The color has not faded. I have a pair of khakis that are just solid as a rock. Just American made. Stitching is perfect. They're not frayed or ragged or anything. They're perfect. Quality clothes. And I'm at the point in my life, at about 60 right now, where I can buy things at this point in my life that are, all right, if I buy something that's super quality, for instance, the things that I bought in 1990 are almost 30 years old. In 30 years, I will be 90. I plan on living to 100. You know, we make plans and God laughs, but I want to live to 100. I would love to live to 100. But let's look at 90. So if I buy things now that could last for 30 years, what would they be? So I think about things like, for instance, I had a pair of moccasins, like slip camp moccasins, that I had literally for 30 years. Literally for 30 years. Perfect. I just got rid of them like a year or two ago. But I had them for 30 years. I'm thinking about buying things now that will last me the rest of my life, like my last pair of boots. My last pair of custom-made jeans. I'm thinking maybe the shirts that I want from here on out are the last shirts that I'm going to buy. What are brands that you know that will last 30 years or more? And of course, that's called vintage at this point. But I mean, I've purchased that. I have a coat from the turn of the 19th century, a winter coat made of beaver felt. Unbelievable, solid. And I have a Kenneth Cole coat that's falling apart. That's probably less than 10 years old. But the one that I have that's over 100 years old is more solid than the super expensive Kenneth Cole winter pea coat. So I'm looking at vehicles right now. Is there such a thing as a last car that I will ever own? And many people gave me their opinions of what could last me the rest of my life with proper maintenance. Sounds weird, doesn't it? Some people say a Volvo because of Swedish metal. Some people say the Toyota Land Cruisers or the FJ Cruiser could last easy 30 years, could easily go for 300,000-400,000 miles. Interesting to think about. Put your comments down below. Yesterday I posted, here's your nightly evangelical woman meme from a real evangelical woman on Facebook. And it's a picture of a footprint in the sand. And it says, no matter how many steps you've taken away from God, it only takes one step to get back. Do not turn down God's grace and mercy. Evangelical women, always full of hope. They're always just like one little request for forgiveness away from virginity in their heads. No disrespect to virgins. I did my second episode of Rabbit Holes. You might have watched it. It's on the channel now, talking with Rob Morrison and Pierre Gustafson. Pierre Gustafson is a well-known artist. Rob is a friend of Pierre, and Pierre said, you should talk to Rob. He would be a good interview. And I don't consider when I hear interview, I also hear interrogation. I'd rather have a dialogue with people. Say something and let them talk. And it's not about what I have to say. It's about what they have to say. And it's spotlighting the person. I think that's what makes my dialogues, conversations, interviews, whatever you want to call them, different than everybody else's. It's about the person who's across the table from me. It's not about me at all. Watch Rabbit Holes, episode number 2. I think you'll like it. I've already gotten a lot of haters, which tells me I'm on the right track. This is from Michael. Curious if you do local meetups and coaching. I live in Delaware County, mid-30s, new parent, lapsed Catholic, debating career transition in the union construction, stuck, seems like it anyways. I'm keeping this person anonymous. Ready to get unstuck but stumbling. Found your show from watching Richard Cooper. Hello, Richard. If you're watching, Richard Cooper is a friend of mine. You're in good hands. Good show. I liked when you ripped into the fixed income guy, even though you sent him a free pipe anyways. I'm still compassionate. Still compassionate. Or let me put it this way. I remember interviewing Ivan Throne, and I talked about pity. And I'll never forget Ivan said something that literally changed my DNA. Something happened inside of me. He said, I don't do pity. There was a silence just for a beat. He says, but I do compassion. And I related to that. I don't pity anybody. I don't feel sorry for anybody. There's very few people in this world that deserve pity. But there's a lot of people that deserve compassion. I don't do pity, but I do compassion. Love that. Absolutely love that. Yes, Michael. I will be announcing real soon. This is sent from a person from Canada. Hi, I'm X from Canada. I'm sorry, but the only way to have a true taste of the coffee bean is to drink it black. I know this from 30 years experience. Thanks, have a good one. Slap, 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 have a good one. You never wrote me, but when you did, it was slap, 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 then have a good one. Again, here is possibly another person who thinks, did you ever see Mary Poppins? And they sang that song that was, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Some people think a spoonful of vinegar makes the medicine go down. Yes, I know that the only way to enjoy coffee is to drink it black. I do that as well. It's like the people that see me smoking a pipe and some young buck says to me, hey, have you ever tried pot before? I bet you pot would be good. You think you get to be 60 years old and never try weed? What is this pot you speak of? This cannabis thing that you bring up? How is it different than my dark leaf? What do you mean put green leaf in the bowl? Again, what do you mean drink it black? Of course I know that. You felt the need to you actually expended the effort to email me and tell me that black is the only way to drink coffee. Cheers, my friend. There's cream and sugar in this. Ah, and I love it. You ought to try it sometime. Cream and sugar. Hey, let's read something from our first president, George Washington. Discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small numbers formidable, procures success to the weak and esteem to all. When people shall have become incapable of governing themselves and fit for a master, it is of little consequence from what quarter he comes. I am persuaded you will permit me to observe that the path of true piety is so plain as to require but little political direction. To this consideration we ought to ascribe the absence of any regulation respecting religion from the Magna Carta of our country. I agree. I agree. Ascribe the absence of any regulation respecting religion. And lastly, a free people ought not only to be armed, but disciplined. I agree with that. Being armed without discipline is a recipe for failure. So, be a disciplined person. I know some people would argue with this. I do believe that you should get training, firearms training, when you purchase a firearm. I have plenty of police officers who tell me what it's like to be in a gunfight, to really be in a gunfight. Like the real deal, where there's lead flying. And it takes discipline. Because if you think you're calm, cool, and collected, if you ever have to deploy your firearm, you're crazy. No one is. The adrenaline is pumping. That's why it takes practice. That's why you go to the range on a regular basis. That's important. What else? 21 Convention Patriarch Edition is coming up May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'm going to put a link for it down below. If you can't afford the whole thing, I've been given the privilege of giving you a code to get a partial scholarship to take some bucks off that. If you're a father or want to be a father someday, or are currently going to be a father in a number of months, you need to be at the 21 Convention Patriarch Edition in Orlando, Florida. Life-changing. I will be speaking there along with content creators, movers, shakers, and world changers, best-selling authors. It is a life-changing experience. I kid you not. Check the link down below. Also, if you go to georgebruno.com and sign up for my newsletter, I have some interesting things coming. And I'm waiting for a critical mass before I start releasing that. Finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow.